Objective opinion once again, and as we spurge off into the second segment of the Game Over series, well, Lower Manhattan, and as you can see from the backdrop, this place is pretty huge. So we're going to just basically highlight the inauguration this time around with Blair de Blasio now in office and Bloomberg slowly leaving. There was a whole bunch of statements that was made at this inauguration that a lot of people had problems with. But we're going to basically focus on the New York News, the Daily News, where the statement for as Bloomberg was concerned was a very interesting one, because it appears as if everyone that gave a speech at this inauguration apparently upsetted the right wing for whatever reason there may be, when in all reality these speeches were quite on point, especially when Hallie Delefante actually specified that the criminal judicial system as we know it has basically been one-sided for centuries and needs to be corrected. Then Letitia came up and she actually explained, that's Letitia James, your public advocate at this present time, she further emphasized that the imbalance within our communities is also something that needs to be addressed.
Protocol having been established, I am deeply honored and humbled to take this oath for the office of New York City Public Advocate. Words cannot express my gratitude to all of those who gave their time and prayed for this day to happen. Individuals dedicated their precious moments to make a dream become alive. They represent the bridge that carried me over. Like so many New Yorkers, mine is an unlikely story. A road traveled incrementally by many before me, who made it possible for me to be here before you today. To them, I dedicate this day. I never expected to be a citywide elected official or to make history as the first woman of color to hold citywide office. As I stand here in this space, filled with anticipation, anchored by the strength and will of parents smiling down from heaven. Parents without credentials. Humbled individuals, more accustomed to back-breaking work than dinner parties. They taught me to set an example and to serve as an inspiration to others. To fight for something greater than oneself. And that sense of purpose was sharpened throughout my public school and later at the laboratory of the civil rights struggle, Howard University School of Law, which set in motion a public service career. I joined public service because I felt it was the single most effective way to change the outlook of exclusion and marginalization that has left a mark on so many New Yorkers at one time or another. The wave of progressive victories our city has recently enjoyed, thanks to the City Council, was in some ways inevitable. The fabric of our city, of our nation, is made strong by the untold sacrifices of so many who are left defenseless, unrepresented, unspoken for. But at some point in history, the tide must turn. The policies that make them voiceless must give way to a government that works for them, that speaks for them, that cares more about a child going hungry than a new stadium or a new tax credit for a luxury development. To live up to that challenge and to be morally centered in our decisions is the task before those of us who think of ourselves as the progressive wing of our city. Even as the tide turns towards progress, we do not have the luxury to rest. You see, the growing gap between the haves and the have-nots undermines our city and tears at the fabric of our democracy. We live in a gilded age of inequality, where decrepit homeless shelters and housing developments stand in the neglected shadow of gleaming multi-million-dollar condos, where long-term residents are being priced out of their own neighborhoods by rising rents and stagnant incomes, where stop and frisk abuses and warrantless surveillance have been touted as success stories, as if crime can only be reduced by infringing on the civil liberties of people of color. Where what should be the race to the bottom for high quality education has turned into a race to the bottom for standardized test scores. And where hospital closures serve as an existential threat to the health of our community, and library privatization moves are little more than land grabs for more luxury condos. Most disturbingly, we live in a city where a New York City worker can work full-time and still need food stamps to feed her family. Where more and more jobs pay lower and lower wages until we find ourselves in a place where half of all New Yorkers are living at or near the poverty line. You see, I've heard the stories from fast food workers who are working not one, but 2 or 3 jobs and helplessly sinking into the poverty abyss. Over the past year of campaigning and organizing, I have met with individuals who have made a science out of stretching a paltry $7.25 an hour. An act of magic, I call it, while trying to survive in one of the most expensive cities in the world. I have joined them at their walkouts and pickets and seen in their eyes the constant fear of losing their last economic lifelines. But in those eyes, I've also seen hope, enduring hope, the eternal optimism, the light in their eye. And it's that same light that I saw today in Dasani's eyes. Dasani, please join me. Dasani has joined us with her family. May her family please stand. This is the Dasani Coates. You see, you all read about her in the New York Times. And this is my new BFF. And so together, in the face of seemingly endless recession and an unsparing economic system, working people in our city don't give up. Their spirits have not been broken. New Yorkers get up each day and fight, and when they're knocked down, they get up again and they fight some more. This is the spirit of our city. This is the tenacity it will take for our government to strike a blow against inequality and injustice and make our city work for working people again. It's why those of us taking the oath of office today were elected to serve, because with each ending comes a new beginning. Though we recognize the challenges I laid out, we must also capitalize on the unique opportunities only a city as amazing as New York City can offer. We still have one of the most diverse and talented workforces in the world. New industries continue to arrive and thrive in New York, and our city remains the unquestioned hub of creativity, commerce, and human advancement in our region, and maybe the world. These challenges and opportunities can only be met effectively if we work together. Let this be our lasting resolution on this new day. I congratulate Mayor Bill de Blasio and Controller Scott Stringer as we come together to celebrate this historic day and launch a journey that will move our entire city forward. All of us share a progressive vision for this city's future. I pledge to work cooperatively with all of my colleagues and build real consensus. Indeed, moving New York forward will take hard work and a joint determination. Of course, if working people aren't getting their fair share, if our government isn't securing the reforms New Yorkers were promised, you better believe Dasani and I will stand up. That all of us will stand up and call out anyone and anything that stands in the way of our progress. Elections are never the culmination of creating change, but simply a first step. New Yorkers should judge their government by whether we make improvements in the education system our children rely upon, whether we improve healthcare access for our patients, whether we help create jobs that pay more than the minimum wage, whether we make our city one that is safer even as we respect the civil rights of all New Yorkers, and whether we focus on building on more sports arenas or affordable housing. Above all, our government must maintain an unflinching focus on the spirit of these benchmarks. So today we celebrate and get to work to fulfill the promises we have made to New Yorkers, motivated by the challenges before us and inspired by the greatness of our cause. I thank you for your trust, and I am more determined than ever to roll up my sleeves and seize the opportunities presented by the dawn of a new day. One city, together. God bless you, and God bless our great city.
You cannot vote on this, you cannot vote on that. Right? And as long as we're doing that, guess what? Half the crap that's passing up here ain't gonna pass.
I like that.
So,
It's not gonna pass. This is why I'm on a strong move to build that bridge that was so broken, to bring us together collectively so that we can make these things happen. Now, together, if we come together and hold forums, right? We got to put these guys on the spot. No, it's not what you think. We send you there.
Put them on the spot.
We send you there to legislate for us, right? To do the necessary things for us. So, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, guess what?
We're gonna get you out.
We don't have to tell him we can get you out. We will show him that he's out. Because come election time,
They said pre-warn is
He's out.
pre-armed. Pre-warn is pre-armed.
they must be afraid to,
Well, we telling me they
to
gonna-
come to us.
No, but
I agree with you, my brother. And I call it red thought that like lightning.
You gotta stand up. We can't hear you.
Sorry, we gotta stop asking them and start telling them.
That's right.
You understand? You try to ask and it doesn't work.
That's
So
right.
now we have to have the mind and the attitude that we're not asking you.
That's right.
We're telling you.
That's right.
You understand? And we got to be now when you go and approach them, we got to know what we're talking about. We're
That's
not
how white
going
folks
because-
do.
we don't-
They tell 'em.
we don't- You understand? Don't go because your voice is loud. Go because what you know. Go because what you believe in. Go because what you need. And stop asking and start telling.
Right.
And on that note, we're going to get right to the point.
Okay.
Real quick. Because remember, this is still an objective opinion. And I'm just sitting here listening and soaking on all this stuff up. And I can't keep a light on myself to save my life. Dang on us. Now, okay, we headed up to Washington. Well, Albany. See, I always in Washington. I gotta come out sometimes. Okay, we headed to Albany to actually deal with the educational issues. Now, you have two things that you need to be more attentive to. Over the last 20 years, education has been minimized to
Yes.
non-existence in the urban communities.
That's right.
This is not something that happened by chance. It is something that happened as a result of somebody else actually doing what they were doing.
Am I got it right?
So, who are these people and why are they're deliberately attempting to miseducate urban youth
That's right.
in our community, leading to crime, drugs, violence, and things of that nature?
No jobs.
And where is the community that needs to be here
That's right.
to address the legislation on these issues?
That's right.
And when do we force a change within our government? When we bring back the force. Nothing is going to change by us voicing our concerns, by us screaming at the top of our lungs, by us stomping our feet at the end of the drum, bung, 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 bung. However, I got to take you back to our ancestors. You know, the faithful ones that fought and died for the struggle. And this is why we emerge on a regular basis, continuously, and often in the weirdest kind of ways, but you get the point. It has to stop. It really has to stop, and the way that it stops is today is a new day. No longer are we asking you for anything. We're not asking you for anything. All you politicians, you know, I told you, game over. That's why I'm here. Game over. I'm not asking you for nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. Letitia, my sister, this is your roadmap. Eric Adams, my brother, this is your roadmap. Bill de Blasio, what's up, homie? Woo! Your roadmap.
All right.
These things are not something that someone's asking you for. History has clearly told you that it's warranted. At the election, And at the inauguration, after Bloomberg and them sat there and they felt that they were so rudely disrespected as a result of speeches that did nothing more than tell the truth about a situation of the urban community for the last 30 years, and you still got a problem with it? Really?
Speak.
I ain't mad at you, my man. But in my community, we need to start doing for ourselves.
That's right.
I'm not doing for you, I'm doing for ourselves.
That's right.
We need to grab hold to our kids and educate our kids for our kids' safety. We need to eliminate NYPD's negativity in our immediate communities.
Praise
And the way that these things get accomplished and
Praise
achieved is by us taking the forefront.
That's right.
Not the other way around.
Say so.
So follow the roadmap. Game over. This is Abdul Hakim signing out for the Objective Opinion. And we just got to Albany. So peace. Stay tuned.
All right.
Good morning. This is Hakeem Abdul once again for the Objective Opinion. And here we're in Brooklyn, and we're seeing that there's a men's shelter located here in East New York, outside of Brownsville. Now, what you need to understand is many men are not afforded the opportunity that the women are afforded. So as we go through here and we see these shelters, there are really no jobs, no vocational training, and no education whatsoever. So why is it that the men are always being shafted in our community? The women receive all the benefits and they receive all the assistance, while the men, however, are stuck on the side of the road or in the streets. So at the Objective Opinion, we're looking for programs that actually assist the men. No longer can you leave the men out in the streets as if they don't exist. They do exist, and they need the same services that the ladies need. So come to the forefront. And if you look closely, nobody's working. Nobody has a job. How you doing, man? My name is Hakeem.
Eunice.
What's your name, sir?
Eunice.
Eunice? How long you been over here at the shelter, Eunice?
I've been here about 6 months.
6 months? And
right.
what kind of services did they provide for you?
I'm looking all over all the spots. There ain't nothing here. This is just shelter.
And now, but indulge me here real quick.
Right.
The everyday process here in the shelter system, would they give you a counsel?
Bullshit.
They give counsel work?
It's bullshit.
Just BS. No assistance whatsoever.
Now, the way I see it, since I've been here, I'm not on no drugs, no nothing.
Oh, so, and that's another handicap. What about if you ain't on drugs?
Then you just like this dude working on some other things and no care, no concern. You see anybody worry? I worry about him while he got blood on his face. He ain't good.
Yeah.
Okay? That man needs medical attention. It's hard. You see the blood all over his face right there?
Oh yeah, it look like somebody beat him down, man.
You put the camera on that.
Yeah, man. What happened to my bro, man? Excuse me, bro. What happened to you, man? You alright? Jet, boy, he ain't trying to talk. What's the name of this shelter, big man?
Camera.
This is Camden?
Yeah.
Camden. So they receive state funding. So this is where your federal and state funding is going to our elected officials out there that just came into office. When we say the game over, we need you to actually come over here and put a limit or an end to all this misappropriation of funds and things that's going on in our community. And this is how I keep up doing Objective Opinion.
Hi, okay, we're here. We're on OJ Opinion right now. We're in Brownsville, Brooklyn. We're at the Prospect Plaza where they're doing the demolition. They're bringing down the buildings. As you can see, it's not a controlled environment, so the building is open. The demolition that they're doing is open. And as they're doing the demolition, there's a lot of dust flying, there's a lot of debris flying, and so we're here to kind of see if we could talk to the contractors and find out, is there a way for them to have a better controlled environment, why they're not wetting down the building, why they're not wetting down the dust and the debris that's flying up, because we have a school that's right across the street. So one of the things that I noticed is there's no sign posted here, and there's a barrier. So I can't get past the barrier to find out who's actually in control or who's actually building here, who's the contractor. There's no sign listed. Normally it should be a sign that says, well, if you're dissatisfied or you have a complaint, you can call a Best Squad. There's no sign here that says it's the Best Squad. And so OJ Opinion and I, we are out here now. I'm trying to see if maybe we can get some of these things rectified, or at least give some knowledge to the community about what's going on, because this shouldn't be transpiring in this manner. This dust that's here on the floor, that the trucks are coming out and they're actually dragging it all the way down the street, down Prospect, around the Howard Avenue, right to the corner where the school is at. That dust, once it's rolled over a few times, becomes airborne, and it's very dangerous for the children. So because it has asbestos, we know that it has mold in here, we know that there are a lot of contaminants in here. So again, we're out here just trying to inform the community about their rights what they're entitled to, and that they should know that this is not a safe condition, or even if they feel that it's not safe, they should call, and it's their right to call, but they have to have the proper procedures set up where people will know what to do or who to call if they're unhappy. Brownsville Collective newspaper, this is what we do. We go around just trying to get information to the community that's going to benefit the people that live here, the residents that live here.
Letitia has been an advocate before she became the public advocate. When she was on the city council, we have a tremendous amount of footage that we've been showing you as well with Letitia in the streets dealing with the public's issues on a regular basis. But now that you have made it to the public advocate, right up under the mayor now, she's also vice mayor. What do you hope to do for the community now that you are the public advocate?
I want to hear from our community. I want to empower them, organize the community. I want to provide the community with great services. That's what I want to do. As an advocate, I want to continue to check the balance on this. And I want all the girls who like to go to their years, the highest heights, great people I see them now. And that the only thing stopping them is so dream big, and seize the moment. This is their time.
Well, as you know, you have Bill de Blasio.
Yes.
You have yourself.
Yes.
You have Scott Stringer, and you also have Eric Adams.
Yes.
You're closely related to Eric Adams as far as the streets is concerned.
Yes.
They're advocates in the streets, so when that deal with our issues in our communities. So now that he is the railroad president, mind you, Eric, I'll be coming to see you too, because we are the ones that hold our elected officials accountable. So I'll be coming to see you too, Eric. But where do we bridge everybody together? Because this election was dramatic. It was huge. Double digits, really across the board. Something that wasn't easily accomplished. The advocacy in the streets made that a reality. So, how do you express this dramatic victory to the public?
So I think really, the power comes from, and I believe that we should recognize that. And so I think residents are going to have to think about together. I have an agenda going forward. You got to make sure that I stay on message, one, and that I honor my commitments, and that I stay open, and I understand how good is our streets. And you got to stay on top of it and constantly remind me, get on my case when I stray. Remind people that as much as it's given it to me, it can take it away. And that's what people have to understand. People got to know that the power really lies in their hands.
Now you know we're looking for a real strong leader on that note, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sis, you have your other elected officials that we're looking to use to guide to that unification process that we were just speaking of. A lot of people don't know the roadmap. We're going to give you the roadmap for that. So pay attention. This is the Game Over series. We're going to give you the roadmap. But we need to know now, how do we bring all these elected officials that have been the Democratic Party that are putting these positions to actually benefit the immediate community?
Well, again, this and tonight was called by groups. You can do it. You need to call some people and say, these are some of the issues that we should come to. So that really, back to you. Don't look to us. Look to you. You are the leader.
And there you have it. Letitia James, public advocate. Stay tuned. Game Over. Please speak to the people, sister.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lori Kogo. I'm a new candidate in the 35th Council District representing Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Prospect Heights, Crown Heights, and parts of Bedford-Stuyvesant. I'll be filling a seat held by our new public advocate, Councilmember Letitia James, who is now our new public advocate-elect. And it's been a dynamic experience and opportunity to shadow her over the last few months and to really understand and implement a lot of the goals and really vision that she's had for the district. And I definitely want to continue her legacy, but also bring my new perspective to the position as well.
So, now that you have been elected, what do you plan to do in your immediate community around the following issues? Stop and frisk, education, and employment for young men.
Well, you know what? I would like to see it that way. The challenge with this is that there are so many issues that hit you to the position. So one of them is in the NYCHA development. So several community centers as well as senior centers are slated to be shut down foster many of the developments that are Mitchell-Lama developments are forcing residents to downsize. So, for example, you're 80 years old. You've lived in a one-bedroom apartment your whole life. You've lived there for 30 years. Your grandchildren have grown up with you in the one bedroom. According to this sequester, they're saying that you will now have to move into a studio apartment before the end of the year, or you're going to lose your voucher.
Is that legal? Can they legally do that?
That's the way they have positioned it, but we're challenging it on many levels because there was no public discussion, the community was not informed, the elected officials in the area on the city, state, and federal level were not even aware that this was going to be happening. And in addition to that, what I said in the report today, which is very disturbing, have been the number of shootings in the district. And so while people may say, shootings are down and that sort of thing, for me, I've been going to a lot of funerals back to back. With the levels of shootings that have been happening, also in the community, public safety as well, in terms of police speeding cars that have recently in the last month taken the lives of 2 individuals. So there's a lot of immediate, right? These are the issues that you didn't initially come into the campaign for, but as soon as you come in, these types of issues have to be addressed. And speaking to the issue of stop and frisk, one of the things that I was saying is that the conversation can't continue to be how do we better police communities that are unemployed, that have few job opportunities, that have poor performing schools, that have many issues of gun violence and the symptoms thereof, and so many issues that are impacting the community. A huge prison industrial complex system that is fed from our public housing developments, and what happens when those individuals return back home and they can't return back home.
This is as far as working with Golden Blocks and Eric Adams, other politicians now to actually resolve those immediate issues.
The thing that I feel very confident about is that I've had over a decade-long relationships with all of those who have assumed leadership positions. I met Scott Stringer he's the only one that it's a new relationship, but I feel very confident that these decade-plus relationships are going to put us in a very critical position to bring resources not only back to our community, but to create a more equitable city.
On that note, I'm going to let you go, sis. We're going to be monitoring how they spend those funds. Like we've been following the money for the last couple of years. There's a couple of council members, you know who you are. I ain't forget you guys. I'm coming to see you about last year's funds.
I hear that.
And where they went and to whom they went to.
Right.
Don't think I forgot. Okay? Thank you, sis. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
This is Hakeem Abdul-Adel for the Objective Opinion, one to grow on.
Thank you.
Game over.